Third pick of this year's draft, Scoot Henderson has been turning heads with his great summer league performance, even if it was cut short by a shoulder injury. Well, most people know at this point that Scoot is going to be something in the NBA. Not as many people know about his unique path taken to get to the NBA, skipping out on college to be one of the first notable players to go straight from high school to the G League. This has us wondering, how might this unique journey affect his development, first few years in the NBA, or even his entire career? To better understand his future, let's quickly dive into his past. Before inking a groundbreaking contract with the G League Ignite, Henderson had garnered widespread attention as a top-tier prospect, receiving enticing offers from prominent universities such as Kansas, Auburn, and Georgia. His reputation as a consensus 5-star recruit was well-deserved. During the 2020-21 season, he achieved a remarkable feat by becoming Kell High School's all-time leading scorer, an accomplishment he secured during his junior year, with an impressive stat line that boasted an average of 32 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists per game. Not only was Henderson a standout on the basketball court, but he also excelled academically, displaying exceptional foresight and dedication. In an effort to graduate ahead of schedule, he took on double coursework, completing his high school requirements a year early. In addition to this, his commitment to his studies led to a respectable grade point average of 3.5 upon graduation, something that's very impressive considering he probably spent most of his time working on his skills. Despite his extraordinary talent on the court, Henderson maintained a composed and focused demeanor in the classroom, earning respect from his teachers for his dedication to learning and lack of disruptions. Given that Scoot had been this driven and mature from a young age, it's no surprise that he felt confident enough to skip out on his last year of high school and also skip out on college. This may be a dumb move for some, but when you're as determined and talented as Scoot, it may actually be the more mature option to go with the G League when you're being offered a $1 million contract that pays out over 2 years, which is what he took. Henderson made history as the youngest professional basketball player in America, achieving this remarkable feat at just the age of 17. Despite his youth, he continued to display just how ahead of his age he was in terms of maturity, drive, and skills once he reached the G League. Always eager to improve his skills, Henderson remained open to any advice that could elevate his game. He would also regularly be the first one on the court, putting in that extra effort to fine-tune his abilities. His dedication was so intense that sometimes when the team bus was scheduled to leave for the practice facility, he would arrive as early as 30 minutes beforehand, sweating from an early morning workout. During his initial season with the Ignite, Henderson primarily served as a bench player, as he played behind future first-round picks Dyson Daniels and Marjon Beauchamp. However, in just his second G League game, Henderson delivered an impressive performance, racking up 31 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 steals. A mere 2 nights later, he came amazingly close to securing his first triple-double, missing it by just 2 assists. This isn't to say that Scoot's G League journey was flawless and easy though. As with many young players transitioning to the professional level, Henderson faced some challenges during the 2021-22 season. Despite starting the campaign on a strong note, he encountered a rough patch, which is only natural. Over a span of 5 games during the Showcase Cup, he averaged 7.8 points, but struggled with shooting efficiency, managing only 26.8 from the field. Additionally, he experienced difficulties from beyond the arc, going 1 for 8 and even had an 8-turnover game. Being confronted with defensive strategies he hadn't yet encountered before, Henderson now found himself unsure of how to counter them. After years of dominating the competition, he now had to grapple with the opposing end of the spectrum. Luckily, the Ignite coaching staff decided not to bench Henderson, but instead supported him through this learning process, allowing him to play through his challenges. They focused on refining various aspects of his game, such as maintaining his dribble, identifying optimal attacking angles, making well-judged passes, reading defensive setups, and mastering floor positioning. As the debut season progressed, Henderson began to turn things around in the second half. He displayed his growth with a couple of impressive 10-assist games, and consistently scored in double digits in 8 of his final 10 appearances. It was evident that his dedication and hard work, coupled with the guidance of the coaching staff, were paying off, and contributing to his improved performance on the court. During the summer, Henderson dedicated himself to hard work and preparation, knowing that he would be taking on the role of the Ignite's primary playmaker in the upcoming season. However, that wasn't the sole source of his motivation.
For months leading up to the draft, it seemed pretty clear that it was going to be Wemby going 1 and Scoot going 2. So much so that the NBA had actually tried to capitalize on this fact by having a couple of exhibition games between Victor's pro French team and Scoot's G League team. These games were mostly to give Americans the first viewing of Wembanyama in person, but Scoot definitely won over a large chunk of the audience in that first game, dropping 28 points with 9 dimes compared to Wemby's 37 and 4 rebounds, with Scoot's G League squad getting the win in that game. But honestly, it was more than just the stats with Scoot, as he showed a very high level of IQ when it came to offense, finding different ways to get to the basket or to create space to get a shot off, which pretty much cemented it into people's minds that he'd end up going second overall. But then he suffered a knee injury during the second game, and shortly after that, Brandon Miller started beating cases like he was Snoop in '96, and suddenly his draft stock shot up. Being a 6'9" versatile wing, he's pretty much what every team in the NBA is currently looking for. And then it happened. On draft night, Woj dropped the bomb that the Hornets were gonna take Brandon Miller, which meant that the Trailblazers were handed a gift and a curse, as the drafting of Scoot was the final straw for Dame, and ended up leading him to request a trade, which might end up being a long drawn out drama, as Dame has made it pretty clear that he's looking to go to the Heat, and the Trailblazers have been pretty firm that they're looking to get the best return for Dame, and not looking to take a lesser deal to do Dame a favor. So there's a pretty good chance this is going to be dragged out into the regular season, which I'm sure wasn't the start to his NBA career that Scoot had in mind, being paired up in the backcourt with a pretty pissed off Hall of Famer. Either way though, this really shouldn't be something that affects Scoot too much, as he's shown a pretty solid mentality toward the league, and he already has plenty of talent, which will only continue to grow as he gets older. Really, the only worry when it comes to Scoot is the fact that he's already shown to be pretty injury prone. From the knee injury he suffered in the second exhibition game, to a nasal fracture, 2 concussions, and an ankle injury during his time in the G League, all the way up to his... So obviously there's no way that these injury concerns so far would or should have changed the Trailblazers' minds. And if we're just basing off what we've seen so far since the draft, Scoot honestly does look like the best player. Of course, Wemby does have a way higher ceiling, but who knows, maybe we're witnessing a similar situation as the '84 NBA draft, with one of the all-time great big men being taken number 1, a bust going number 2, and a god tier guard coming at the 3rd pick. But just something to note would be the fact that he is an explosive undersized guard with similar athleticism as Ja Morant and Derrick Rose, who of course had his tragic knee injury that derailed his career. And honestly, there is at least 5 dunks a year from Ja that make fans hold their breath hoping they're not about to witness a career-ending injury from him. So hopefully Scoot can work with trainers to start to work on proper driving techniques to help him avoid any major injuries, but as long as he stays healthy, he should have a very long and accolade-filled career. If you made it this far, give the video a like. And while you're down there, you might as well just subscribe, then hit the bell so you don't miss another upload, and we'll see you next Sunday.